They say silence is golden, but could it also be the key to a better night's sleep? Join me in this video as I peel back the tape on my over 4,000 hour sleep journey with my mouth taped shut. In this video, we'll look at several things, including my insights, frequently asked questions, common concerns, my key takeaways, and my favorite sleep tape. Let's jump in. Hey friends, welcome back to Peak Life, where we journey together and design, build, and live our peak life. So the biggest question you must all be having is whether or not sleeping with my mouth taped for 4,392 hours actually did anything. Did it improve my sleep? Well, let's find out. But before we do that, let's see where it all started. For a long time, I've struggled with sleep. I'm a high performer where I like to work out hard, work hard, and enjoy life. And not getting enough sleep always left me feeling drained. And to top it off, I was a mouth breather, which one of the serious downsides is waking up with bad breath. So before I started mouth taping, I tried everything I could think of to optimize my sleep, including the 1-2-3 method, where I had no caffeine past 1 p.m., no work or stress 2 hours before bed, and no food or booze 3 hours before bed. But this just wasn't enough. So my journey with mouth taping was actually a bit of an accident. Now it's everywhere, but at the time, over a year and a half ago, it had really only been talked about in the book Breathe by James Nestor, and it was a bit of a coincidence that I finally tried it. I got laser eye surgery, and if anyone's had it, you know that you have to wear this face mask that they tape onto your face to protect your eyes at night. Well, there was a roll of tape that I used to tape the mask to my face. And one night I decided, what if I just tape it over my mouth and see if all the hype is real? Well, that lasted about 5 minutes until I was too terrified that I couldn't breathe and ripped it off. But after reading the book Breathe by James Nestor, I didn't want to stop there because I knew that breathing through your nose helped with filtration, oxygen levels, face structure, and the overall quality of your sleep. So I knew that I had to figure out a way to get over my fears. And I did this by starting off not with taping my mouth at night, but instead to leave it on for half an hour or an hour at a time while I was doing other things like reading or watching TV. And after about a week, this fear went away. And I found that I didn't need to actually tape my entire mouth, but instead I could just put a single piece over the center of my lips so that I could still breathe through the corners of my mouth. And this eventually released all of the fear, and I had my first night with mouth tape. And once I got more comfortable, I would usually go about half a night before ripping the tape off. But this increased to more and more, and now I would say about 95% of the time, I sleep the entire night with the mouth tape on. So throughout this whole process, I tracked my sleep with the Oura Ring at first, and then with the Garmin, and the results were staggering. I would do a couple days with mouth tape, then a couple days without mouth tape, just to see if anything changed or if it was all placebo. And I would alternate back and forth with this. And what I found consistently throughout the entire experiment is that when I mouth taped, my heart rate was always a few beats lower. Usually it would average between 45 to 50. My heart rate variability would be higher, which is good, and it would be typically between 65 to 70. I would get increased REM sleep, and as a result, I would have less light sleep. I would have less sleep disturbances and less movement throughout my sleep, so I was getting a deeper, more restful sleep. My respiration rate was even slower. It would typically be around 14 to 15 breaths per minute, and both the Garmin and Oura would give me consistently higher sleep scores as a result. Plus, I would wake up feeling more refreshed and ready to get to work. So you might be wondering, why? Why does breathing through your mouth make such a difference? And through the research that James Nestor did and other sleep doctors like Matthew Walker, the author of Why We Sleep, we have some pretty good evidence as to the huge benefits of breathing through our nose and why that's preferential to breathing through our mouth. A few of these keys are as follows. When we breathe through our nose, we get improved air filtration, which reduces us inhaling allergens and different debris that can disrupt our sleep. Through our nose, we get better humidity and temperature control because the nasal passage actually regulates this humidity and temperature of the air before it goes into our lungs. Nasal breathing stabilizes our airway by maintaining this open airway, which can reduce or completely eliminate snoring and sleep apnea. And we get improved sleep cycles by maintaining that lower and more restful heart rate. And when we breathe through our mouth, we get all of the opposite of these, the downsides. Plus we can also get dehydrated, and I experienced this. And as our mouth dries out, we get bad breath and increased water loss. And with mouth breathing, we get increased sympathetic activity, which may lead to increased stress hormones and a more disrupted sleep. Now let's have a look at the common fears. I know when I started, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to sleep and that I would choke or just completely suffocate myself. And although it was scary at the beginning, what I found the key is to practice before you go to bed. Just to use it throughout the day and to not tape your entire mouth shut. Instead, to just put a small single strip across your lips vertically so that you can still breathe through the corner of your mouth. The body has built-in sensors, such as the panic and gag reflex, that will prevent you from suffocating yourself. If you can't breathe, your body will automatically switch to going to your mouth. And in the cases, say you get stuffed up from being sick, your body will wake you up and you can just remove the tape. Now, I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on the internet, so if you have any concerns about this, please do check with your actual medical doctor. And as we know, the body monitors carbon dioxide level, not oxygen. So if you're not able to properly breathe and dispel that carbon dioxide, your body will wake you up as a protection mechanism. Put a comment below if you have tried mouth taping. I'd love to hear your feedback. So all in all, mouth taping has been a life changer for me. My breath's way better when I wake up. My energy levels are higher. I get a more restorative sleep, which means that I can work and train harder. And I find that I toss and turn a lot less during my sleep. Now, throughout this process, I've tried a lot of different products. And you can see a lot of the advertising of the fancy tapes. And you might be wondering, well, what do I need to even start? And I don't think you need anything fancy. I think just some good grade medical tape. My favorite is this Next Gen, which I'll put a link below in the description, as it comes pre-cut, so you don't need to tear it. But all you need to do is just go to your local supermarket and buy a couple wraps. They're typically like $3 to $5 per package, so it's not very expensive and it'll last you months. So a few tips before you start would first be to consult with your doctor and make sure there's no medical condition that will prevent you from doing this. And to start small and not at night. Start just by taping your mouth before bed while you're reading or while you're watching a show to get used to the sensation. One other thing that I find is if you have particularly dry lips and you put on lip chap or Vaseline before bed, you have to do this far enough in advance so that the tape can still stick. And if you have any discomfort or any irritation from the tape, obviously stop. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you consider trying mouth taping, as it's been a complete life changer for me. If you enjoyed this, please check this video here. That's full of life advice that I wish I knew earlier. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.